Hi, it's Nick Robinson. Today we're going to show you the latest product from Colour Tree Limited, which is paper by the Folio company, very well established, well-known company, and it's iridescent paper, or because this is a German edition, it's Iridescent Papier, but it's basically iridescent. Some people call it pearlescent, sort of metallic finish. So let's have a look, see what we've got. So it's 50 sheets, 14 by 14 centimetres, so just a tiny bit smaller than the usual paper. What else do we need to know? Oh, we don't get any instructions. That's quite unusual. So that's the sleeve, and here's the paper. So let me have a look at a sheet. So it's got an embossed finish. You can see it reasonably clearly there, and a variety of sort of metallic, pearlescent stroke iridescent colours. So we've got lighter ones, blue, green, pink, sheet of cardboard, red. It's got a number of colours, sort of blue, purple, red combinations. So let's have a look at one of the pieces. Slightly thicker. The texture makes it thicker basically, so sometimes when you're folding it you're going to need to be really careful and hold it in place while you flatten it. It doesn't flatten in a straight line quite as easily as normal paper, and being thicker paper, it's clearly not suited to anything too complicated, but it's not designed for that. It's designed to be attractive, catch the eye, catch the sunlight. So perfect for Christmas decorations, boxes, modular folds. Obviously you can make lizards, turtles, that type of thing with it. So to demonstrate the paper, I'm going to also show you another product from Colour Tree, which is the latest British Origami Society model collection for the convention, which we had this weekend. And these were our two special guests, Paula Bachetta and Eric Vigier. So these model collections are a superb thing. There's usually 120 plus pages, and they're full of mostly unpublished models, things you won't see in commercial books, which is just brilliant. There's so much fun to be had in them. So we're going to have a go at a model by a good friend of mine, Robert Foord, and here we are, Tumbleweed. It's called Tumbleweed, the fish-based version by Robert Foord. I'll put up a couple more pictures on the video, and it's one of those rare designs that kind of seems obvious but nobody had discovered before. Essentially it starts with the fish base, which has been around for 100 plus years, but nobody had thought to join them in this way, and Rob is a genius at this type of thing, so he's very kindly allowed me to make a video. So in the book you get the fish base version, a bird base version, which is an extension using the same principle, but instead of a fish base use a bird base, and there's some variations, ways of joining them. Loads of fun. So you can buy a printed copy of this while stocks last, but you can also buy electronic PDF version with no postage costs involved. So that's a British Origami Society product, well worth looking at. So let's have a look at this model. So we need to make 6 bird bases, and the standard way of doing it colour wise is to choose 3 sets of 2 colours, and then each colour is opposite, because it's a kind of a cube geometry, so each of the sides of the cube will have one piece of paper. So we're going to start with the white side up, and we're going to fold corner to corner, and we're going to crease just the outer section there. Let me check this is accurate again. So just the outer section, don't do the middle, doesn't really matter, but it's just a crease we don't need. Then we turn over, rotate the paper, and we're going to fold corner to corner in the other direction. So again, you just need to take a little bit more care with the lining up the edges because of the thickness of the paper. I like to use a special folding tool, which I can't see, will be around here somewhere. Here we are, I found it. So this is a folding tool, hand carved from wood by a friend of mine who lives in Germany called Hans Werner Gut. and he makes these specially to order, and you can buy them from my website, origami.me.uk. Look for the shop, and we still have a few in stock, and I'm hoping to get some more soon. And essentially they're a folding tool. This is to go into separate layers of paper and to find nice neat corners. This is to flatten, so the way you use it essentially is just very gently. You flatten that crease and it makes the crease more defined. So I shall use that throughout. Okay, where are we? So we folded those two creases, and we've turned over and we've folded in half. Now we turn the paper around so the corner's towards us, and we're going to fold one of the edges to the folded edge, from the raw edges out to the folded edge. But only crease as far as the centre where the existing crease is. Then put that crease in to form a point, and then we fold the other side in the same way. So we have two raw edges going to the top folded edge, leaves a point in the middle which we're going to flatten to the left hand side, and then I'm just going to give those creases a little flatten. I didn't used to believe in these, I thought my fingers were enough, but it really does give a good sharp crease, and it's just a nice piece of wood. It's a good tool, it fits your hand beautifully, so I recommend them. Then we flip over and we do the same. We fold one long edge to the folded edge, make that point in the middle, and then fold the other side over. And flatten in the opposite direction. So we have, well, this should be flat with these. So one goes to that side and one goes to this side. But actually what we should do is flex those both ways, because that's going to end up in the centre. So for the moment they're going opposite directions. Okay, now we're going to fold this point back over, and it's going to pass through the end of this triangle here, that corner. So line it up with the corner, make sure it lines up with the bottom edge. Crease, there's lots of layers there, and with thicker paper it just does a nice job. Then we turn over and repeat. So fold this over to pass through the point of that triangle. And would you believe it, the unit is now finished. So there's one unit. It's got two flaps, and underneath it's got pockets. It's got pockets on this side and pockets on the other side, and these flaps are going to go into those pockets. We just need to orient these little folded flaps because they go on opposite sides, as you can see, and we want to take the next one and make sure that the point that's going in the same direction is going to be joined up so that these can overlap. So let's put the yellow into the blue, slide it in place and hold it in place, so you can see these are going this way, which is kind of important. Here's a purple one. So this flap is going to come inwards, so that tells us we need to put it in that way. Slide them around until they're tucked into each other. This paper being textured doesn't slide in quite so easily. So there's one corner of the unit together, and it's beautifully simple the way in which we kind of get those to stay together. We just fold that point in there, fold that one in there, and that one goes into there. Isn't that lovely? And that keeps that together a little bit. So we need to put opposite colours, or the same colour, in opposite positions, so that's going to go opposite to that one. So we check which way things are, and this flap is going to go that way, so it goes in there, this goes in here. Shuffle them about, and then we take another blue one, which is going to go opposite there. Make sure these points are all facing in the same direction. Obviously the larger you make it, the trickier assembly is going to be, because it's trying to come apart, but just a matter of easing the flaps into the pockets, doesn't matter which side particularly. shuffling them into place. And then once again we can just fold these over each other. Tuck that one in there. And then we've got one more to go, which is a pink one. So it's going to fit in that way so that these three flaps come inwards. So I don't know if there's a best way to do it, but I think you just get one in. You don't have to put it in really tightly. In fact, let's put it in between these two here. That might make life easier. The final unit is always a slightly awkward one. That's going to go in there. Shuffle those up. This pink is going inside that yellow. I'll try not to let the other ones fall out. If you've got three hands, life will be considerably easier for you. That's in there. And if we flip it around here, that blue one, see it's now holding together a bit more firmly. That blue one is going to go inside this pink one. You can tell I'm concentrating here because I'm saying less and less. There we are. Slide them all together. Oh, that yellow one should be inside that blue one. Just be gentle, that's the trick. And then we can just tighten them up a bit. Then overlap these three. Get the last one really tight, then these simply overlap like so, and then finally we have these. One of my bulbs has just gone out, oh well. There we are. So it's called a tumbleweed unit. I thought it was named after one of my jokes, but apparently not. And it really is beautiful. So the instructions for that are in this model collection from the British Origami Society, which you can buy via their page on the Colour Tree site. And there's another model I made using the same units here. This is a design of mine called a Boat Ring 2, and it holds together reasonably well. And quite pretty. So that's Iridescent or iridescent paper. Where's the pack? There's the pack. See if we can get this light working again. Nope, the battery's run out. Oh well. And you can buy this from colourtreelimited.co.uk. And I shall see you again at some point and hope to have my batteries recharged by then.